we got another bike flip going down. It's another Trek hardtail. I have it on the stand because I wanted to show you guys what needs work and basically what we need to fix before we can even sell this bike. Flat tires front and rear. The guy said this one was popped and he says this one just might need air, but I'm gonna check both of them to see how the rim tape or the rim liner is. Make sure it's good, make sure the tube is good, and then go from there. This derailleur definitely could use some grease along with the chain and the cassette. Cockpit looks a little faded, but not too bad. Front brakes need to be adjusted. Forks don't look in too bad of shape. They just look a little dirty. Let's get this thing washed and cleaned. As I was taking off the rear and the front rim and tire and everything, I inspected the rear rim and you can see the rim tape isn't doing a really good job at covering the spokes. So we're gonna retape this rim. That way we can avoid any flats in the future. I'm also gonna add new rim tape to the front rim. It doesn't look like it needs it, but I'm just gonna do it just to be safe. This is the rear tube, but I don't hear any air coming out of it. So I'm gonna inflate it a little bit more and then leave it to the side. I'm gonna also inflate this tube and leave it to the side to see if it deflates. I normally retape with just electrical tape. I've always ran electrical tape. It just is the cheapest, I feel like. You can get like 3 rolls or 2 rolls at the Dollar Tree for like $1.25. I also have electrical tape on my mountain bike and I run tubeless on there. I feel pretty confident electrical tape is solid. I usually do like 2 or 3 passes with the electrical tape. It depends how wide the rim is. If the rim is wide or wider than usual, then I do 3 passes. If it's kind of narrow like this, I can get away with 2 passes. Unfortunately, we're losing daylight and I don't want to continue this video because it's just going to keep getting darker and darker and the image quality is probably going to get worse and worse. But we're going to leave off where we're at. Got the 2 rims taped up. This is perfect. I can leave these inflated overnight, see how they are in the morning. We'll continue this video on another day when there's more sunlight. Good morning. It's a new day, ladies and gentlemen. We got the bike back out. Check this out. I want to show you guys something. I left the inner tubes pumped up for like a day or 2. One of the inner tubes still has a good amount of air in it and the other one is basically completely flat, which tells me that this inner tube has a hole somewhere in it and we're gonna find it and we're gonna patch it up. So what I do is I pump it up to this size and I will put it against my ear to hear like a hissing noise so I can locate the hole. You can also get a bucket of water and put the tube in and see where bubbles start coming out, but I feel like that's too much work. I usually can spot the hole just by putting it in my ear and I don't have to get water or a bucket or anything. Sometimes you can also feel the air hitting your cheek as you're rotating the tube. After locating the hole, you want to clean it up with some alcohol. Instead of actually patching this with a patch kit, what I like to use is some super glue and a piece of an old tube, and I'll super glue the hole and then just lay the piece of tube on top of it. Growing up with BMX, I always hated patching tubes up with like a traditional patch kit. So what my buddies and I began doing was just buying super glue, and we always had a bunch of inner tubes laying around in the garage, so we would just cut those up. And I think one tube you can probably get like 50 patches if you cut it up, you know, into little squares. So that was more practical for us. We never had any issues or anything like that, and we were doing some pretty intense riding, like jumping off stairs, hitting gaps and things like that. So there was a lot of pressure being put on our tires, and the patches never gave out. It's just what I like to do. I'm not a fan of patches. I just stick with super glue and an old inner tube. I like to hold it down for like a minute, and then I just lay something on it, wait 10 minutes, and it's good to go. This inner tube is fine, so I'm gonna install it probably in the rear, but first I want to check to make sure nothing is stuck inside of them. So I usually just run my fingers through the tire, and then I just try to feel if there's anything sticking out or something that may puncture the tube. All right, enough time has gone by. There's our patch. It's not gonna go anywhere, and especially when it's inflated and pushed against the tire, it's gonna just sit in place. Next thing I want to work on is this front brake. Brakes are running insanely good, front and rear. Now I want to try and mess with the gears, clean up the drivetrain, and get it running smooth. So I'm happy with the brakes, I'm happy with the shifting, everything's solid. Now it's time to clean it up, make it look pretty. This headset feels a little loose, so I'm gonna tighten it really quick. That is gonna wrap up this flip. I had a lot of fun fixing up this bike. The gears did give me a little bit of trouble, but after cleaning it and re-greasing it, it was so much easier to adjust. I don't know why I didn't think of that before. I think I was just so determined to get the gears to work that I ignored the fact that this thing probably hadn't been greased in so long. I hope you guys enjoyed. That's gonna wrap up this video, but I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.